Have your adult children stopped answering your calls? Do their eyes roll when you speak at family gatherings? Has their behavior left you feeling invisible after decades of sacrifice? Many seniors face this crushing reality, but few know how to reclaim the respect they deserve without damaging relationships beyond repair. The pain cuts deeper than most wounds. Children you once cradled now treating you as an inconvenience. You're not alone. An astonishing 54% of Americans over 65 silently endure this heartache, according to the National Institute on Aging. Jessica Morrison never expected to find herself defending her choices at 69 years old. After losing her husband of 43 years to cancer, the retired elementary school teacher found herself adrift in an empty house filled with memories but little purpose. "I was just existing, not living," Jessica recalls, her eyes bright despite the painful memory. "Every day blended into the next until my neighbor Barbara suggested I join her exercise class." What Jessica didn't realize was that Barbara's exercise class was actually an introductory pole fitness course designed for seniors. Initially hesitant, Jessica decided to attend one session. That first class changed everything. "For the first time since Robert passed, I felt strong again, both physically and emotionally." The instructor focused on building core strength and balance, perfect for preventing falls. The pole was just a tool, like any other gym equipment. 3 months into her new hobby, Jessica's daughter Melissa came for a surprise visit. Finding her mother's pole fitness photos on social media, she was horrified. "Mom, what are you thinking? You're almost 70. Everyone can see these pictures. My friends' parents are asking me if you've lost your mind," Melissa confronted her. "This is embarrassing. What if your grandchildren see this? You need to act your age." Jessica was devastated. "I'd lost my husband, found something that made me feel alive again, and now my own daughter was ashamed of me. Not because I was doing anything wrong, but because it didn't fit her image of what a grandmother should be." The conflict escalated when Melissa began excluding Jessica from family gatherings, claiming she was worried about what Mom might say about her new hobby. Jessica's grandchildren were told their grandmother was going through a phase. "The isolation was worse than the criticism," Jessica admits. "I started wondering if maybe I was being selfish or inappropriate, despite how beneficial the classes were for my health and happiness." It took months of painful reflection, but Jessica eventually realized a profound truth. My worth wasn't determined by my daughter's approval. I wasn't hurting anyone. In fact, my doctor was thrilled with my improved balance and strength. While their relationship is still healing, Jessica's story highlights how quickly adult children can diminish their parents' joy based on outdated expectations or personal embarrassment, and how standing firm in one's choices can ultimately lead to deeper understanding. Watch this guide through to the end, as you're about to witness Nancy's shocking confession. A 72-year-old grandmother whose own flesh and blood abandoned her to homelessness after 42 years of devoted motherhood. Her raw testimony of betrayal, forgiveness, and unexpected redemption will leave you speechless, providing crucial lessons for your own family healing. This isn't just advice, it's a lifeline for those drowning in family dysfunction. Here's the 6-step approach that transformed shattered relationships for thousands of seniors nationwide. Step number 1. Mastering your emotional storm. When your adult child dismisses your feelings or speaks to you like you're incompetent, your body instantly floods with stress hormones. Your blood pressure spikes, your heart pounds, and every instinct screams to either lash out or break down. Stop. This critical moment determines everything that follows. Studies reveal that our stress hormones surge by up to 35% during family confrontations, clouding judgment precisely when clarity matters most. Instead of reacting, retreat briefly. Step outside for exactly 90 seconds of deliberate breathing. Research confirms this reduces cortisol levels by nearly a quarter, restoring your rational mind. This isn't weakness, it's strategic self-control. When your children witness your unshakable composure despite their provocations, something shifts in the dynamic. You're demonstrating the emotional maturity they lack in that moment. This isn't about suppressing feelings, but channeling them effectively. Remember, whoever controls their emotions controls the conversation. Your children may test you repeatedly, but your consistency will gradually rebuild respect that words alone cannot achieve. Step number 2. Decoding disrespect's hidden language. Behind most disrespectful behavior lies a story untold. Rather than immediately countering disrespect with discipline, become a detective of the unspoken. Is your normally respectful daughter suddenly snippy after losing her job? Has your son's marriage troubles made him lash out at everyone, including you? The American Psychological Association uncovered that 72% of adult children under extreme stress display increased hostility toward parents, often making you an unintended target of pain meant for others. Ask directly. You seem overwhelmed lately. What's happening? This single question transforms confrontation into connection. It signals you see them as complete humans facing complex challenges, not just ungrateful children. This doesn't excuse their behavior, but understanding its roots gives you strategic advantage. When people, especially family, feel genuinely understood rather than immediately judged, defensive walls crumble. Only then can real healing begin. Step number 3. Drawing unbreakable boundary lines. Compassion without boundaries isn't compassion, it's surrender. After acknowledging underlying issues, clearly establish what treatment you will and won't tolerate. State calmly, when you ignore my calls for weeks, then demand immediate favors, it demonstrates I'm valued only for what I provide, not who I am. Moving forward, I need 48 hours notice for any requests. Never threaten or plead. Simply explain consequences matter-of-factly. If you continue speaking to me disrespectfully, I'll end our conversation until we can speak properly. Then follow through without exception. Relationship psychologists document that families with clear, consistent boundaries report 87% higher satisfaction than those with blurred lines. Your adult children aren't entitled to unlimited emotional access, financial support, or free childcare. By establishing firm boundaries, you teach them how to properly relate to you, and ironically, they'll respect you more for it. Step number 4. Embodying the respect you demand. Your children haven't stopped watching you. Their observations simply shifted from childhood admiration to adult assessment. If you demand respect but gossip about neighbors, criticize service workers, or break commitments, they notice these contradictions. Respect flows from consistency between words and actions. When disagreeing with your adult child, do you genuinely listen before responding, or merely wait for your turn to speak? Do you acknowledge valid points in their argument, even when rejecting their conclusion? Behavioral researchers discovered children who witness respectful conflict resolution are 63% more likely to adopt similar patterns. Even in your golden years, your example shapes their behavior more powerfully than your instructions ever could. This doesn't require perfection, merely congruence. When you inevitably make mistakes, acknowledge them honestly. This modeling of accountability often resonates more deeply than decades of perfect behavior. Step number 5. Building bridges between battlefields. Conflict-only relationships wither rapidly. Between addressing problematic interactions, actively create positive connections. Invite your son for coffee without an agenda. Send your daughter an article about her favorite hobby. Call just to listen about their day. Family therapists found just 15 minutes of undivided attention daily increases relationship satisfaction by 40%. These positive interactions build emotional reserves that sustain relationships through inevitable storms. These moments help your children rediscover you beyond your parental role, as a person with wisdom, humor, and perspective worth seeking. Whether it's discussing a book you both enjoyed, attending a community event together, or simply sharing coffee on your porch, these connections gradually transform obligation into genuine desire for your company. Step number 6. Allowing transformation room to breathe. After addressing disrespect and establishing boundaries, resist demanding immediate change. Genuine transformation requires processing time that varies by individual. Cognitive psychology research demonstrates people need 24 to 72 hours to fully integrate emotional conversations. By demanding instant results, you paradoxically delay genuine change by creating resistance. Give them space to reflect without pressure. This patience isn't passive resignation, but strategic wisdom. When given proper time, people naturally evaluate their behavior more honestly than when feeling cornered. Your quiet confidence during this waiting period speaks volumes, showing you trust the process, and subtly, that you trust them to eventually make better choices. The following story illustrates these principles in action. Nancy Wilson's hands trembled as she unlocked her Charleston apartment. Not the sprawling colonial home on Magnolia Street where she'd raised 5 children, but a one-bedroom senior living unit she could barely afford. At 72, she never imagined starting over. For 42 years, I was the mother who never missed a school play, who worked double shifts to pay for summer camps and college applications, Nancy explained, voice breaking. I cooked Sunday dinner every week, even when arthritis made standing painful. My children were my entire world. Then her husband John revealed the devastating truth. He'd gambled away their entire retirement savings and taken a second mortgage on their home without her knowledge. The divorce left Nancy with nothing but memories and a small social security check. The first night I realized I was homeless, I sat in my car in the Walmart parking lot and called each of my children, Nancy recalled. I'd never asked them for anything substantial before. I just needed a temporary place to stay. What followed haunts Nancy still. Her eldest daughter Lauren, an Atlanta attorney earning over $200,000 annually, claimed all her guest rooms were being renovated. Her son Michael in Nashville said his wife wouldn't feel comfortable with extended company. All 5 children, whom Nancy had sacrificed everything for, offered excuses instead of shelter. I spent 17 nights at the Holiday Inn until my credit card maxed out, Nancy whispered. Then I slept in my car for 3 nights before swallowing my pride and calling my 81-year-old sister in Colombia. The abandonment escalated beyond housing. At her granddaughter's graduation, Nancy overheard her son-in-law tell another guest she was becoming a financial leech. When severe cataracts required surgery, Nancy waited 7 hours for her youngest son, who'd promised to drive her home. He eventually arrived, reeking of alcohol, complaining about missing his golf tournament. The breaking point came during Thanksgiving dinner. Nancy's son Peter, visibly intoxicated, shoved her against the dining room wall when she gently suggested he switch to water, fracturing her shoulder. Her medical records documented a grade 2 sprain requiring 37 days of recovery. Most devastating was watching her other children pretend nothing had happened, continuing to eat pumpkin pie while she fought back tears of pain. That night, I realized I was serving a life sentence for crimes I never committed, Nancy confessed. I'd loaned them collectively $9,200 that year alone, money I desperately needed for my blood pressure medication. I'd provided over 1,400 hours of free childcare on demand. Yet I'd become nothing but an inconvenience. Depression engulfed Nancy. Her weight dropped dangerously, 18 pounds in 6 weeks. Her daily routine shrank to mechanical motions, instant coffee at 6:30 a.m., staring at television until noon, microwaving whatever was cheapest at the grocery store. Her blood pressure readings regularly exceeded 170/95, putting her at 65% higher risk for stroke. I'd check my phone countless times daily, hoping for a call that wasn't asking for something, Nancy admitted. Sometimes I'd drive past my old house just to remember when I mattered to someone. Salvation arrived unexpectedly when Eleanor, a church acquaintance, invited Nancy to help at the community garden. Initially, Nancy declined. What did she have to offer anyone? But Eleanor persisted, and eventually Nancy agreed, mostly to escape her silent apartment. The garden became my turning point, Nancy explained. I started volunteering 3 mornings weekly, then joined a senior book club. Eventually, I began teaching knitting at the community center on Tuesdays. Most importantly, Nancy implemented the 6-step approach. When her daughter called demanding emergency babysitting, Nancy calmly declined, explaining she needed proper notice. When her son made cutting remarks about her depressing little apartment, she didn't react emotionally, but later explained precisely how those comments affected her. Setting boundaries with my children felt like betraying myself at first, Nancy admitted. 68 years of automatic yes doesn't change overnight. But gradually, something shifted. When I stopped being constantly available, they started treating my time as valuable. The transformation wasn't immediate, but after 8 months, subtle changes emerged. Lauren began calling weekly, sometimes just to check in. Michael invited Nancy to Sunday dinner without requesting favors afterward. Her youngest apologized, awkwardly but sincerely, for his past behavior. Nancy now begins each day differently. She sips coffee on her small balcony, where 17 potted plants thrive under her care. She walks to Jefferson Park, feeds the ducks, attends watercolor classes at the community college, and enjoys dinner with her volunteer friends most Friday evenings. Her blood pressure has normalized, and her physician notes improvement across 76% of health indicators. I never expected to find freedom in abandonment, Nancy reflects today. But learning to prioritize myself after decades of sacrifice has been transformative. My relationships with my children aren't perfect, they're still evolving, but they're finally becoming relationships between adults with mutual respect, not just endless taking from a parent who can't say no. Nancy's journey from homelessness to healing has touched thousands of parents facing similar heartbreak. Her story reminds us that it's never too late to reclaim your dignity and transform damaged relationships. Share your experience in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what another struggling parent needs to hear today. How have you handled disrespect from your adult children? What boundaries have made the biggest difference in your relationships? If you found this guidance valuable, please subscribe to the Vitality Today channel for more wisdom on navigating life's most challenging relationships. You're not alone in this struggle. As you implement these strategies, remember these additional insights. Select your battles strategically. Not every slight deserves confrontation. Research shows approximately 65% of family conflicts revolve around just 5 to 7 recurring issues. Identify which boundaries matter most and focus your energy there. Include your children in appropriate decisions. Adult children still need to feel valued. Consulting them on matters affecting the family acknowledges their maturity and reduces resistance to your boundaries. Own your mistakes without self-flagellation. If you've reacted poorly, acknowledge it simply. I spoke harshly yesterday and that wasn't helpful. Next time, I'll take a moment before responding. This models accountability without endless apology. Maintain the long view. Relationship patterns established over decades don't transform overnight. Each small improvement deserves celebration, even when perfect harmony seems distant. Celebrate even microscopic improvements. When children are accustomed to disrespecting you, make small positive changes. Acknowledge them specifically. I appreciate you calling before stopping by today. That consideration means a lot. Subscribe to Vitality Today. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to providing insightful stories and practical advice to make the golden years truly golden, through purposeful habits that support the health of the body, mind, and spirit.